Oh yeah, it's the weekend, and you know what that means. It's time for Pixels and Bits on the Overshield.com with your hosts, Corey, Manny, and Tommy. And now, broadcasting from planet Earth, it's time for Pixels and Bits. Welcome to Pixels and Bits on the Overshield.com. My name is Corey. Hi. Welcome to episode 71, Pixels and Bits. I am not joined by any of my co-hosts because they're all assholes. Alright, not really. Because of us not being able to keep an entirely consistent release schedule, I apologize. And because of us not being able to keep a consistent release schedule, they thought we weren't doing a podcast this week. Turns out we were, even though I told them in advance. So you guys can laugh at them on social media if you want. Anyways, I am joined by a very special guest. Very special guest. Would you like to reintroduce yourself?
What's going on, guys? This is Bryan from ScrewTack.com, and apparently I have the task of replacing 3 people tonight, so I will do my best.
Your beard makes up for one person already, so...
Alright, I'm covering for 2 people. My beard has the 3rd guy covered.
I was wondering, do you ever consider the beard as a third hand?
You know, there's definitely times where the beard has come in handy, and there's definitely times where I was like, wow, I have toothpaste in my beard. This is kind of nasty. Or like lately, I've been like just super, some like super allergies blew through Dallas. So I've been super congested and running and all that business, so you know, that with the beard is not always pleasant when you blow your nose.
Oh no.
Yep. That makes for fun moments. Part of the compromise of bearding, I suppose.
Oh.
Anyways, I've learned to live with it. Learn to live with it.
Well, Bryan, we are we are thankful to have you and your awesome beard come back for your second appearance on Pixels and Bits. Let's see, when was last time we had you on? Was about 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was probably 2 summers ago. That sounds about right. I was living in a different apartment at the time. I know that much. I'm in a bigger room now.
Ah, he's upgraded, ladies and gentlemen. Next, to mansion. Now, I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Because of that podcast appearance, I would say that technically you are our first journalist as a guest.
I think that's the first time someone's ever referred to me as a journalist.
Well, the reason I would refer to you as a journalist because you do work for an official organization. Like before, the only guests we had on before that were YouTubers.
Mm.
So to us, that was a bit of an honor, and it was for me. It was also very humbling, I guess, because ScrewTack is my inspiration. It's the reason why I love to go to SGC and everything. And speaking of SGC, we will talk about that in detail, including things that might be embarrassing.
Well, there's allergies. Cough, cough, wheeze, wheeze. I may do that a few more times. I apologize in advance.
Oh, it's all right. We'll just replace the coughs with like toy ducky squeaks.
Oh, so yeah, that or like a clown nose or something. Fix it in post, man. Fix it in post. Maybe it's like a semi-truck air horn. I don't know.
Oh, because you were the first journalist we ever had on. You and Ben are like the only 2 people to have Pixels and Bits shirts.
Oh wow.
And that's just purely because they're expensive as hell to make, and I will never sell them because if I did sell them, I'd have to charge like $40.
Man, what kind of like size runs are you doing? If they cost 40, oh no, you have a lot of colors on there too. That's part of it.
There's a lot of colors, but here's the thing: I can't even do large orders because I don't make that much money.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Like literally, it's like, okay, I'll do this large order, and I can't eat for 3 months.
Worth it? No, not really. Okay, fine.
I could always just live off the shirts.
Well, what's the cafe press? Like the sites that'll do it kind of like as you go, like print to order. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. I'm not Sam. I don't do this merch stuff. I just make videos and I yell at Craig when he fucks up my audio levels. That's all I do.
So if I want to talk about merch, I just talk to Chad.
No, Sam is our go-to man these days. Chad is heading up Screw Attack Games. Merch is all the business of Sam and Austin now.
All right.
Chad is out of it entirely.
I bet he's glad that he doesn't get asked anymore. Like, do you ship internationally?
I think he still gets that periodically.
I play. I'm friends with him on Xbox Live, and I'll play him every now and then. And I'm like, "Hey, Chad, do you ship internationally?" And he'd be like, "Fuck you!" And like, he'll either pretend to quit or he outright quits.
It's a sensitive subject. Sensitive subject.
All right. Are you ready to jump into the news desk?
Let's go for it.
All right. We don't have the intricate music cuts anymore, so let's just improv it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, first let's talk about game release date announcements. First, we have Sonic Boom for Wii U and 3DS. That's coming out on November 11th for 3DS, and Wii U version will be coming out on the 18th.
So right in the heart of like holiday release season, when it's gonna get buried by everything. Nice.
It's coming. No, I'm looking at this. It's like, wait a minute. It's like the Wii U version comes out on the 18th. Doesn't Smash come out at around the same time?
Exactly.
It's gonna be buried.
Gonna get buried. Man, yeah, that's just asking for trouble.
Well, let's face it. Sega was never really the smartest with their releases.
No, like well, I guess Sonic Boom is the one supposed to have a cartoon show to go with it, so it'll have that going for it, I guess. It'll have some sort of marketing going along to help prop it up. That might be what makes it not a complete failure. Hard to tell yet.
Hard to tell. By the way, pardon to interrupt this news desk because Andrew is now joining. So, Andrew,
Gentlemen.
Yo,
you just joined mid news desk.
Good timing.
What are we talking about?
Well, we were talking about Sonic Boom and how it's basically coming out the same time as Smash and how asinine that is.
That's a dumb time for any other game to release.
It's gonna get crushed.
I mean, was the game really supposed to sell well anyways?
I mean, I get... Here's the thing. Every time I look at Sonic Boom and I see that, like, Scarf Sonic or whatever, him with the bandages, for some reason, I keep thinking that when he speaks, it sounds like the old cartoon Sonic. Drugs are no good, kids.
So the old guy's making a comeback.
Oh, God. Maybe that's what the cartoon will be.
Ooh.
Oh, no. It looks really, really kiddie, but... It's a Sonic game. If it's a good Sonic game, I'll like it, but...
Well, from what Ben was telling me, it's like not even really like what people know of as a Sonic game.
Really?
It's like the furthest from a Sonic game it could possibly get, while still being a Sonic game, I think. I forget specifics, but he's like...
So like Sonic R?
Oh! I'm not sure. It sounded like it wasn't, like, the levels weren't, like, built fast for linear speed and all that stuff. It's more closer to, like, standard 3D platformer, a little. Less emphasis on speed than in the past.
Yeah. I don't know. That's always been my thing with Sonic, is that his whole games were about going as freaking fast through that level as you possibly can while finding shortcuts. It was like the ultimate speedrun game ever.
Not anymore. It's not.
Sadly, no. That was probably beaten by all the speedruns of Ocarina I've been seeing. People are like backflipping through like walls and shit like that, and skipping the Master Sword entirely and just going to Ganon's castle. Actually, there's a guy the guy who did the recent speedrun. He skipped even getting the Kokiri sword and got past Mido, and then somehow warped to Ganon's castle and beat Ganon without a sword.
Impressive.
And he did it in like 14 minutes.
Nice.
I guess the rating won't be F anymore on the mobile, huh?
Yeah. Anyways, oh, by the way, Andrew, you have the people doing stupid shit segment. So.
Oh, thank you for telling me. Thanks.
Well, I was kind of hoping Tommy would have gotten out of work early, but whatever. Next release date announcement is for another Lara Croft game, and sadly, we're not getting Tomb Raider too early. That'd have been sweet, but instead we're getting a it's kind of like a, what was the game called? Lara Croft and the Guardian Light. This is kind of a spiritual successor to that one, which was a top-down twin stick shooter.
Yeah, Sean speaks highly of that one. Like, he said it was kind of an underrated XBLA PSN title, so...
I always hear that, but I never actually got to play the game.
Neither did I.
But if it's anything like the Guardian of Light, then cool. But I mean, I'm not a big fan of top-down twin stick shooters, to be completely honest. But I know there's a market for that. Obviously, that's the reason why this game is being made. It's called Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris, and it'll be released this December, on December 9th, to be exact. And it's for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. So it's next gen only.
We're starting to make that switch.
Oh, it's happening, folks. I mean, like the Switch will be official when you can't pick up Madden and FIFA on 360 and PS3 anymore.
Well, gee, you could get FIFA on PS2 up until last year or 2 years ago. Like,
so this is gonna take a long time.
I mean, EA will put, well, because like FIFA is so globally sold, but the world isn't always on the latest console just yet, depending on where you are. So they stay as viable as they can.
So wait, FIFA 13 was on PS2?
Possibly. I know, like, they kept selling it on old consoles for a long time.
I know Madden went up until about 2010, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, FIFA 13 was released on the PlayStation 2.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And the Wii.
And the development team for that consisted of an lowly intern.
The guys who had to do the uniform and roster updates. Because that was all they were going to do for the game at that point. Anyways.
Or the guys whose sole job was shirt textures.
Yeah, really.
I mean, now that I've gotten into soccer and everything, I'm looking forward to playing the new FIFA. I just wish that there was more to it. I wish it was more of a next-gen game than they're saying it is. It's like, you can now see emotion. Well, what do you freaking do? The guy reacts when he kicks the ball.
Man, like, FIFA now compared to 10 years ago, it is a huge difference.
Oh, no, I mean, like, that's why I don't buy sports games yearly. Mm-hmm. It's why I buy them, like, bi-yearly or tri-yearly. Because then if I buy them every year, it's just like, I'm gonna nitpick it, and I'm gonna hate it for the fact that I bought a game for a tiny gameplay change. But if I wait until, like, the old one's servers aren't supported, then I have a reason to go get the new one, and then I notice those changes.
Mm-hmm. Like, even I've just been working on I picked 14 back up this week. I'm working on my Ultimate Team again. And just, like, the little things and how the players interact and how it changes ball motions and interactions and the whole deal. It's like, this feels good. Compared to whenever I first picked up FIFA, like, I guess my first one was 2002. I was like, this feels so much better.
It also was a lot more arcadey back then, wasn't it? But then again, all sports games were arcadey. You couldn't get too intricate.
Yeah, limitations from the consoles. Like, it was a big deal when the ball no longer magnetized to the players. When the ball was truly its own, its own thing for 90 minutes. Like, that was a big deal in, like, the FIFA history.
I think that started with FIFA, and then they put that technology into Madden like a year or two later. And I was happy because I got so sick of the magnet hands thing from for interceptions. He'll be like,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, wait a minute, the ball moved into his hands. The shit.
Yep. It's in the hitbox. It's his.
Now the hitboxes are tiny.
Yep.
Anyways, another game that was this was not only has a release date, but it was actually just announced is a new Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame 5 for the Wii U exclusive. Sadly, it's only been announced for Japan, but I've always liked Fatal Frame because I don't know. I'm an anime lover. I love anime, but it just I don't like Western horror games a whole lot because it's all about the jump scares or like getting really like super bloody and creepy. Here it's very psychological and it's more about poltergeists than anything.
Yeah, I've never really jumped into the horror genre at all. I guess really Dead Space is my deepest endeavor. I'm looking forward to Evil Within. The stuff they had at PAX was just disgusting. Too real. Too real.
I hear Doom 4 was even more disgusting in its reveal.
Yeah, none of that's really made it online yet, has it? It was all very
I'm amazed that nothing has leaked because they even they showed off like 2 levels of gameplay. So from what I heard, and like they said, like the melees are like brutal. There's like one where like you rip a guy's jaw off or you like pull his heart out and some shit. Like it's just like it's like the most brutal sounding shooter in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I like back to Fatal Frame. I don't like games that are all about jump scares or being bloody or everything. I like this one because it's not about the blood or anything. It's about setting a really creepy atmosphere. It's kind of why I like the Silent Hill games. Sadly, I won't touch the Silent Hill games because they're scary as shit. Well, the old ones. The new ones are tame.
I guess... the fuck? Amnesia. That's what I'm thinking of right now.
Oh, yeah.
Those were good for, like, atmosphere.
And then Outlast, if you didn't look at it too closely.
Ignore.
No, and also they announced a Fatal Frame movie at the same time.
Michael Bay's gonna direct it.
It's directed by Uwe Boll.
Oh no.
Instead, he turns Fatal Frame the movie into Postal 2.
Oh.
Okay, kind of off topic. Is it true that I hear that Michael Bay was signed on to do the new Dragon Ball Z movie?
There's a new Dragon Ball Z movie.
Have either one of you heard of this?
Give me my shotgun, guys.
Or because I saw online that Michael Bay was signed on to do Dragon Ball Z trilogy.
Well, now that I think about it, and that actually might work out because Dragon Ball is inherently already kind of cheesy, and Michael Bay does explosions pretty well. So, I mean, if they give him a budget that's like a lot bigger than what Evolutions was, then maybe it's possible. And then probably spend half the budget on hair gel as well.
It could work.
It could work. I just like the only way I could see it work is if they stuck a lot truer to the actual source material, make it silly. I mean, like we've already had movies in the past year that are very, very silly and over the top, like Pacific Rim. Just to show that like you don't need something so serious to make a movie. Cell.
I mean, I'm not sure if all the castings are true. I'm not sure what exactly is true, but Kevin Nash as Raccoon, I don't know, man.
Okay, now it sounds silly.
Really?
That's.
Kevin Nash as Raccoon?
I mean, he's tall enough.
He looks boisterous enough.
I don't know. It's just I have trouble, accepting anything Michael Bay does. It's not He hasn't had a good movie in a while.
Oh yeah, look what he did to the Ninja Turtles.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know.
I have not seen it. I have no plans to see it because from what I have seen of it, it looks like shit. It literally looks like he shat on my childhood. But anyways, we talked about release dates. Let's talk about delays because we got one this week. And shockingly, it's from EA.
You don't say.
It's Battlefield. Battlefield Hardline was delayed to 2015. A Battlefield game not releasing around Christmas? Holy shit!
Maybe there won't be as many glitches.
Well, I think they realized, hold on, we can't put out a game if we haven't finished the last one.
Yeah.
Though, in all fairness, Battlefield 4 is not nearly as broken as it used to be.
Yeah, but when that thing released, that was
terrible.
bad.
I'm sorry, Brian, what?
I was gonna say, if any game, should have a delay before it comes out to make sure everything works, it's Battlefields.
Oh yeah.
Because if anything tanked at launch, it was Battlefield 4.
I think they're kind of realizing that, like, oh, when you make a game that's multiplayer is based around 64 players running around and having chaos on super huge maps, and with a really nice looking graphics engine, then yeah, you might want to tweak it and make sure that every single little thing works fine. Instead of being just like, patch it later. I mean, I think they literally have like a button with like a big stamp on it on like the executive's desk when like people go to proposals. It's like we don't think we'll make this release date. Can we have a delay? Nope, gotta release it. It stamps it saying denied. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking EA's a little too evil.
They have deadlines to keep and fiscal years and quotas to meet, and it's very much a business, and they don't deviate from that.
No, not at all. No, I just wish they would. I mean, I don't want them to be, say, like Rockstar. It's just like we'll release it when it's ready. I'm sorry, not Rockstar's not a good example. Valve, sorry, would be a good counter example. I don't want them to be like Valve and just be like very hush hush about everything and then just drop it when it's completely ready. Maybe I do. Maybe all game companies should be like that, but then again, there would be a lot less money. I don't know. The business person in me says, "Oh, EA, that's not too bad," and then the gamer in me says, "No, what they're doing is terrible." But
that's the dilemma.
Oh wait, question: are they the ones publishing the new Homefront?
No, that's Deep Silver.
Oh, well then let's move directions to Deep Silver because Homefront Revolution, or Homefront The Revolution, its game director has just left Crytek after it seems like Crytek can't catch a break because I've heard lately that there's they've having a lot of money issues. Not paying staff or people having like payroll problems or whatever. Like when they do get paychecks, it's shorted. I mean, that's that's not a good thing.
I just feel bad because Homefront, the first Homefront, was a game I wanted to do well, but it was a miracle that Chaos got that thing to market at all because that was such a disaster. It seems like Homefront: The Revolution is shaping up to go down the exact same way.
Sadly. Here's the thing, I liked the first Homefront in concept. I liked it for the first hour or so I was playing it, and then it just went... it just traded into meh territory really quick. And at that point, I was playing the campaign just to beat it, just for achievements. And I'm sorry, but when I had to when my only driving goal to play through your campaign the first time is achievements, you have done something wrong.
Like, it wanted to hit on a bunch of like deeper like commentary things, and it just fell short of doing that.
And it was wanting to be that revolutionary shooter, military shooter that made you think.
Yeah.
Instead, Spec Ops: The Line did that.
Yep.
Now, that is the end of game announcements, delays, and people leaving shit. Let's talk about Sony. More specifically, let's talk about the 2011 PSN breach, because it seems to have finally come to a close, because the U.S. District Court has approved a multi-million-dollar settlement to the whole fiasco. And the Sony is poised to pay up as much as $17.75 million. Which isn't too bad considering that they lost, what was it, like $150 million over that whole thing?
I guess how many people will they have to pay out with that 17 million?
Yeah, well, that's what this whole it's what it's being all divided up into is payouts. The settlement will be divided among several groups of people, and if you're an American citizen who is negatively impacted by this whole thing, you are likely entitled to some free games or even a cash settlement. For those who are impacted but failed to take advantage of PlayStation's Welcome Back promotion, they will be granted their choice of two of the following options: a free PS3 or PSP game, free PS3 themes, or 3 free months of PlayStation Plus. However, if you do see yourself as entitled to any of these things, you better get it done as soon as possible, because they are first come, first serve. Once Sony has given away $6 million worth of digital goods, that's it. They won't give out any more. And if you're wondering what the free games are, for PS3, you got Dead Nation, Infamous, Little Big Planet, Super Stardust, and Rain. And PSP games are Little Big Planet, Mod Nation Racers, Patapon 3, and Killzone Liberation. I pick up Patapon. That's actually a fun game.
Yeah.
Not giving me Vita games?
No Vita games.
That seems silly.
I guess. I bet Manny will be angry about it. Because he can't go. Well, he's always looking for new games to play on it. I think he's trying to validate his console's existence at this point.
Just like Sean.
Oh, I remember at last year's SGC, I was seeing all these people like literally every other person had a 3DS with them, and then I only saw one guy the whole con with a Vita, and so I started a game. It's just like, hey, instead of let's play I Spy, and the objective is to find more than one person with a Vita. We couldn't do it.
Oh.
It's kind of sad. Now the rest of the settlement will be divided out thusly: $4 million will be used to hand out $4.50 in station cash for PSN to those who are unable to access their Sony Online Entertainment accounts, and $1 million will be used to pay out up to $2,500 to anyone who can prove that the hackers were able to steal their identity. In the case of the Sony Online Entertainment account situation, if the account of claims exceed the $4 million cap, the amount of cashback users receive will be reduced in order to evenly spread the cap to everybody. And the rest of the money will be used for legal fees. So there you go. It's over. This whole thing is finally freaking over. I bet Sony's legal department is just like, oh, thank God. Because that was probably a shit ton of paperwork. Now, I want to talk about this whole little movement that's, or like, well, I don't want to say movement. I want to say like this kind of brewed up controversy recently over lack of female characters in games, and that was all kind of a direct response to Assassin's Creed Unity, with them basically coming out and saying, "Oh, we can't have women assassins because we would have to redo a lot of animation and redo a lot of costumes, and we have to redo like 5,000 animations and shit." So far, a lot of people are calling out bullshit. Last group to do it, I think, was CD Projekt Red for The Witcher 3, basically saying that's horseshit.
Even if they're just really manly women.
Exactly. And now we even got voice actresses joining into the whole debate. More specifically, the voice of Ellie from The Last of Us, Ashley Johnson. Man, Ashley Johnson. Can you? I'm trying to think. Can you think of a more American name for a woman?
It's pretty American. Not gonna lie.
Ashley Johnson.
Yeah.
She responded to the whole thing, and this was her little blip, and I quote: "Games need stronger females that are not just the damsel in distress, the lover interest, or over-sexualized. She doesn't even necessarily have to be a badass. Just like a normal female character. I'm sort of coming at this as an actress, but also as a female gamer." And she went on to say, when she heard about Ubisoft's explanation to Assassin's Creed, she says, quote unquote, "I was like, give me a fucking break. It's 2014. How many video games do you have to make to realize maybe have an option to have a female be in there? And maybe not just on PlayStation Vita," pointing to Assassin's Creed Liberation. "Also, more male characters, have a good story, have real characters." I think the whole give me a fucking break thing is a little, I don't want to say excessive, but pointed. But I do kind of agree, though, because you are seeing an Assassin's Creed. I'm not sure how the Assassins thing works. Is the assassin in the game that's yours? Is he like a customizable assassin or something?
No,
or?
The Creed characters are very set. Like,
okay, but all the assassins are guys.
Yeah.
And there is no female option, which I do find a little
I want
weird,
to say,
especially
when they introduced the concept of having your own like assassin brotherhood. You had female underlings.
No, yeah,
if I remember correctly.
You could even play as female assassins in the multiplayer sections of the game. So it does seem kind of like a bit of a step backward there, because I know they're not going to have the traditional multiplayer setting. They're going to have the whole single player, multiplayer, all encompassed together thing. Say like what Destiny's doing, where you can go and do the story, but if you want to, players can pop in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not sure how that whole system works in Assassin's Creed. I think it would be very annoying to like be stalking a guy and here comes some asshole being chased by the police or whatever and ruins your whole thing.
Yeah, they haven't really gone into detail of how that system will work yet, have they?
No, but the only reason I'm even excited for that game is that as a history major, I find the French Revolution to be fascinating, because it was one of those periods in time where the people said, fuck it, let's kill the rich. And they did.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that it's like, if for people who are anarchy supporters, there you go, French Revolution. For like 5 years, that was total anarchy.
Yeah, I think from a setting standpoint, this would also be my most anticipated Creed game. But after their demo at E3, the coordinated strikes of you could do with co-op looked really cool.
No, that's what I've always wanted in an Assassin's Creed game. Like, finally, they're doing it, because I could never get into the multiplayer because it was always competitive.
And
it just. And for a game that's based around being stealthy, somewhat, it's hard for me to call Assassin's Creed a stealth game. It just seemed more which I'm trying to think of. It just seemed like a better fit to have cooperative instead of competitive.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would think they picked the competitive just to try and grab another market to a degree. The people who are on the fence. And that didn't really catch on, so coming back and doing something cooperative, it's more palatable to the people they have already.
Yeah. Now, let's move on to our final story, and that's probably the biggest story out of this whole week. And that's the big news out of QuakeCon, the reveal of Doom 4, which sadly was only shown to those who actually were there at QuakeCon. So, if you're looking for anything Doom 4, you're not going to see it. Period. Now, we already knew that the game was already announced around E3, and that's when that little teaser trailer came out, right? It was around E3.
Thereabouts.
But I don't know. I'm a little bummed that I didn't get to see it because the way everybody's talking about it, it sounds like the Doom game we've always wanted. It just, executive producer Marty Stratton. Stratton. I thought that was a typo for a second. He told the audience when they revealed the game, Doom is not about taking cover. It's not about finding a place to hide to let your health regenerate. It's about fast, fluid combat, dodging projectiles, finding that next target, and charging forward with nothing in your way of slaughtering that next demon. And like the way people talk about it, they said it was. I heard one person on comment saying that it was like Wolfenstein on PCP. In terms of the way it moved, it was just utterly ridiculous. I'm comparing what they said about the new Wolfenstein to how fast the new Doom game moves. Basically, as I said, it's not about taking cover. So, Wolfenstein was very much cover based when I was playing it. Well, if you didn't take cover, you were easily going to die. But to me, this sounds like it's going to that old school arcadey feel of shooters where it's about killing enemies as fast as you can, or being ultra precise and whatnot. Where if you make one screw up, an enemy will tear your head off or something. I like fast-paced, brutal games like that, and which I haven't played anything like that since. Oh God, I'm actually having to really think here, but I think it might have been like an Unreal game. You just don't have anything with that sort of speed anymore.
I don't know, man. That Shadow Warrior remake that came out, that's some fast-paced, over-the-top goodness right there.
Are you talking about that Shadow Warrior game that came out like in 2007?
No, it came out this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Devolver
okay.
Digital. Flying Wild Hog.
Oh no, I'm thinking Shadowrun.
No. No way.
Bryan knows what I'm talking about. Have you played it, Bryan?
Shit, yeah, son.
Man, that's some fun shit right there.
It looks good. I'm afraid that if I buy it, I wouldn't be able to play it, and it would basically nuke my graphics card.
No. Shadow Warrior?
Yeah.
Unless you have what kind of graphics card do you have?
It's a laptop, NVIDIA GTX 535M.
It's like a 1 gig card, or?
It's 2.
Oh, that should be fine.
Right?
A 2 gig card should be no problem.
Well, it's weird because it says it's like on paper this thing is like, oh, this thing should kick all sorts of ass, and then I fire up Civilization 5 and I can barely run it in medium.
Ooh, well then.
Yeah. And that's just because there's a program in my computer that switches between it and the Intel graphics card, and it's, for some reason, it'll kick on the NVIDIA one when I'm using the browser, but then it'll sometimes switch back to the Intel one when I fire up a game. So I have to specifically tell NVIDIA you were supposed to open for this certain program.
Huh.
it's stupid. It's really annoying, and I'm not sure whether to blame NVIDIA or Windows 8.
I don't know.
I'm more inclined to hate Windows 8 because Windows 8's terrible.
So I have a question. I did miss the first part of this, so I don't know if you talked about it. But in 4 days, I'm gonna be going to this thing in Santa Monica, The Last of Us Live. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
The Last of Us Live? What is that?
It's a live screen reading with all the actors and actresses in The Last of Us, and they're gonna have an orchestra, and it's gonna basically be a live production of The Last of Us with everyone involved.
Huh.
It is
interesting.
It is absolutely free.
That sounds like such a niche thing, but it could be really cool.
It does.
You know what?
I don't know, but they said the same thing about Video Games Live, and look how that took off.
Yeah, for sure.
I really enjoyed The Last of Us. Santa Monica is not that far away from me. It's like 45 minutes, half an hour, and it's free. So, I mean, it's something... I'm just wondering how long it's going to be, because I'm not sure about you guys, but The Last of Us took me like 8 hours, 10 hours.
Well, they said it's going to be selected readings. So
Okay.
I'm sure they'll like par it down.
It'll be like
to,
it'll be like the crucial points in the story, essentially. Yeah, now, fun fact: I still have not played The Last of Us, and that's just because I don't own a PS3. Like, I never bought a Sony system until PS4. PS4 is my first Sony system.
Well, good news, they're doing the PS4 version.
I know, and I'm buying that on Tuesday.
Awesome.
I am really looking forward to that.
And did you guys see the Last of Us demastered?
No. That sounds great already. Is it 8-bit?
No, it's like PlayStation 1 graphics. Everything is so blocky, it's kind of amazing.
Oh, hold on. Really? Wait a minute. Last of Us demastered? Is what?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to
Here, I'll find something real quick.
we'll have Tommy put up a clip of it or a picture or something of it. But oh wait, we got one more news story. And it's about basically somebody took a promo image from Metal Gear Solid 5, and this is at a Russian. This is a Russian news station. They took a picture from Metal Gear Solid 5 and used it as a story for the story on war children in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of when BBC did something like this, but it was with Arma. And they said like it's like real footage or whatever, and it's like instead it's like gameplay from Arma. So once again, somebody did not verify their sources. They probably just had their intern type in African war children. This was like the first thing that popped up because Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
And
jeez.
in Soviet Russia, fact-checking is useless because fuck copyright.
We make up the facts.
We make up the copyrights. The rights copy us. Anyways, that is the end of the news desk. That was a really, really long news desk. And it is time to move into the middle segment, which the middle segment is, well, first part of it is you, Brian.
It's me?
Yes.
What have I done?
You are the exhibit.
I'm an exhibit. I'm a pudgy exhibit. But okay.
All right. So, for those who are still listening after that really long news desk, would you like to explain who you are and what you do?
Oh, okay, sure. For those who don't know who I am Brian from Screw Attack. I recently took charge of our live show programming. Like this past week, we brought back our podcast Side Scrollers, new and live and full of Craig destroying my microphone sound levels. And I do a show called Best Ever. and I kind of film things that need filming and edit things that need editing around Screw Attack.
Now, I've wanted to ask, since you say you're kind of like behind the camera for side scrollers, why was that? Because the last episode before that was before the whole recording at SGC was at
MagFest.
MagFest back in January, right?
Uh-huh.
So why was that Craig's decision to stop side scrollers and kind of revamp it?
Oh,
Or was that like suggested and is just like, that sounds like a good idea, or
no,
was there something else?
well, that was an internal decision just because at the time we were just really, really, really busy, and it was kind of a thing that came down to numbers, and that if you looked at our viewership of our shows, Side Scrollers is a show that's very much for the hardcore, like the most dedicated G1s, the most dedicated fans of Screw Attack, stick with Side Scrollers.
Because it's your oldest show.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's the reason why we still stick with Pixels and Bits. It's one of our lowest rated shows, but we do it purely for almost tradition's sake at this point.
Yeah, like, we have fun doing it. You know, the hardcore G1s love watching it and listening to it. There's so many people who, you know, it's a podcast. They throw it on their iPod and they take it where they go. But it was just like the time it took to film the episode and the time it took for someone to edit the episode versus the viewership, it just wasn't financially worth it at the end of the day. But now with our our foray into live programming, we can do the show live and then just throw the archive on YouTube, and it saves a whole lot of time. It's more efficient.
Now the one thing you guys used to do on Side Scrollers, and I kind of missed it because you did it for a few months and then it stopped, and I imagine that the reason it stopped it was because it was so time consuming, was the recreations of the stories from the news desk.
Oh, yeah. That was definitely one of those things where, like, it was fun to do, but when you start crunching numbers, it just wasn't really paying off. One of those unfortunate facts.
Sadly, and I mean, like, I mean, with Craig, it's all about efficiency. I mean, that's why there's no breaks, right?
That's a cold light of business fact, unfortunately.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people have asked you this, but how did you get started at Screw Attack? Because because a lot of people like ourselves, or people who are aspiring to be YouTubers, or like YouTubers who are aspiring to officially be in the field of game journalism. I'm not sure how to really describe it. I guess, and then people who want to work for Screw Attack. I guess the story is, well, like I said, how did you start?
I started as an intern, I guess, in like February of 2008. I started looking around for internships when I was at the University of North Texas in Denton, Texas, which is about 40 minutes north of Dallas. And there was a flyer for this site that was like, hey, do you like video games? Do you want to do, stuff for a website that has been doing things for Viacom and MTV and Spike and this, that, and the other thing? I was like, sure, let's give it a shot. So I shot Craig an email and made the drive down to what will soon be our old office. At the time when you first walked into that building, and it was just wide open space, empty space, with like a hard news set at the very back. And, kind of did the whole interview process and started up as an intern. And while I was interning, it was just a matter of finding ways to be helpful and really contribute. Because one of the things I learned in school was told by people who came back like guest speakers, the people who will do the most, the people who are willing to kind of pick up the slack and do what's necessary, the more you can do, the more someone will try to find a role for you, like in their staff when your internship is up. And that was the case with me, in that when my internship was up and I went back to school, I started doing video game vaults as freelance work. And just as time went on, I kept just picking up things and helping out and finding new ways to contribute at Screw Attack. So my freelance work became a part-time job as I did that and worked in a computer lab. And just this whole time, kept doing more, kept helping out, kept contributing. And then the part-time became full-time, and then here I am. I'm just kind of the example of the product of the results of if you put in the time and effort somewhere, get in on the ground floor and make yourself worth keeping to a company, then hard work will pay off.
No, I mean, I'm not sure. Now I'm trying to find words to respond to that. But no, that's to me that's an inspiring way to view a job, I guess, because you said there was just flyers around your university, and
well, in the radio, TV, film building in my department's building, we had an internship board.
No, here's the thing. I actually tried that once before because I'm based in Columbia, Missouri, and that's home to the University of Missouri, one of the if not the top journalism schools in the world.
Yeah,
and it's like you think that it's like okay, that'd be perfect place to get people. And every time somebody inquired, they always asked me, it's just like, so how much am I getting paid hourly? And I'm just like, we don't make enough to pay people. Money goes into maintenance.
Yeah.
It's like we're all here to just like contribute, and this is like for fun and like a career builder or whatever. And they're like, oh, well, I'm looking for a real internship or something. And these were like sophomores.
Classy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where you are and depending on the size of the company you're looking at, internships like mine, none of us, Screw Attack intern folk were ever paid as interns. You got paid when you became an actual employee of the company. We came in there for school credit and busted ass, and we earned our paychecks the hard way, I suppose.
That would be the hard way. Now, wait, now I'm curious, how many interns do you guys have now?
We actually have 0 interns currently because Parker, will be our last high school intern ever, became an actual employee earlier this year, or late last year, one of the two.
Really?
Really.
I don't know, every time I saw Parker, I'm just like, man, he seems a bit young to be working there.
He's 17.
Jesus.
He's a senior in high school this fall.
So he skipped a grade. Huh. But... Oh, I've lost my absolute train of thought. Anyways, would you like to stop answering questions, and would you like to go talk about the fiasco that was SGC 2 weeks ago?
The fiasco? Was it that bad? Shit.
Fiasco. Fiasco's not a right word. Fiesta.
There you go. I thought everyone had a really good time at SGC. Did I experience
they were all lying to your
different
faces.
convention? Shit.
They were all lying to your faces. Yeah, this is great. This convention sucks.
Damn, okay. Never mind. I'll tell Sean tomorrow. Just don't waste our time. Got it. Message received.
Now, but what was your personal favorite moment at SGC?
Man.
That's a lot to ask, isn't it?
Well, my personal favorite moment didn't even happen on like the show floor. It wasn't like the panels or anything. It was a Saturday night. We had a special dinner just for our panel guest people, and Keiji Inafune, the co-creator of Mega Man, was up there. And it must have been like 2 hours. He just like answered all our burning fan questions. Like,
is this where Craig started crying?
Yes. Like it was like Craig, myself, Hybrid Ray, and some other guys, just like asking him like all these questions that we were working, so we didn't have a chance to like ask in the Q&A earlier in the day. But we asked him just like the rumor about why didn't Mega Man have a hurricane kick in X3, or what the hell was up with the DOS version of Mega Man, and just anything.
He never knew about that, right?
What's up?
I heard he never actually knew about the DOS version.
Yeah, apparently when I asked that was the very first time he'd like been told about it. Well, it wasn't so much that, but it wasn't so much that. I think he knew of its existence, but it was that he never played it, he never touched it, he didn't know who like the Robot Masters were. He didn't know if he didn't had zero like working knowledge of this game. He just does not consider it canon. To him, it might as well not exist.
I'm actually curious, did anybody ask him about the Mega Man Cross Street Fighter game that was made about a year ago?
I don't think that came up.
Because I would have loved to have seen his opinion on that, where someone crossed two Capcom franchises together into a Mega Man game.
Well, I think the thing now is, with him going through Kickstarter for Mighty Number 9, I mean, he really sees and values the passion of fans. I mean, that was part of what got him to come to SGC in the first place, or was that he kind of recognized it was an event, for the people, a very big community thing. So I'd imagine for him, seeing a fan so devoted to what he helped make would be a huge thing for him.
I think that's funny, because I actually saw like other news sites posting videos from SGC about like the questions that were answered. More specifically, the one about Mighty Number 9 Legends or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then like I saw that in like Polygon and like Destructoid, and I'm like, man, I didn't. They're making a news story out of a panel question. Okay,
I'll take it. If it helps promote SGC, I'll take it.
Free promotion.
Yeah.
I have an SGC question, Bryan.
What's that?
What do you? I asked these guys over here to do an interview, but they didn't, so I'm happy to heard them. Did you get a chance to take a look at or play Super Rad Raygun?
Oh, well, I know Rad Raygun because that came through on Out of the Box before SGC 2013. So yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Well, the new one was at here in the indie.
Oh no, man! I was tied to the main stage most of the time, so I didn't really get a chance to roll into indie heaven.
I was literally like bouncing from panel to panel constantly, and I stopped by the indie Haven though. I don't know why. It's just that I didn't feel as almost inclined to go to it this year, but that's just maybe because like last year I thought the way that was set up was better, where literally the indie Haven and the actual like gaming room were like all tied together, so if you wanted to play games, period, it was all in one big room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know, I thought that worked better last year.
Yeah, I wasn't really a big fan myself of having the indie heaven separated off from everything else the way it was. I don't. We could probably fit indie heaven back in with the gaming room. I don't know. That's a Sean question.
That's a Sean question. Let's see. Okay, so I'll probably talk about my favorite moments. My two favorite moments came from Friday of SGC. First one came in the day, and that was when I went to the Annoyed Gamer panel, and it ended up being Craig's hour of fun. I had no idea that the panel was canceled until it started, and Craig showed up with a megaphone saying that, on a megaphone, he's like, Marcus is not here because he has hernia surgery.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, we'll just we'll do like an FAQ or whatever, and then all of a sudden I see him like suddenly kind of like get this idea, and he starts running around looking for single ladies, and I wasn't sure what to make of it at first initially, and then when he came back, he says, all right, we need 3 guys, and I'm like, all right, I'll raise my hand, and I'm thinking it's just like, oh, this is like, I'm gonna laugh, but this is like a. In my head, I was thinking, man, this is gonna be funny. This is like some sort of bachelorette contest. And then he's like, all right, go behind, like get up, hide behind the stage, or go behind this curtain. And I'm like, oh god, this is a bachelorette contest. So like, I didn't really know what I signed up for until it was a little too late. And if you're curious, I did end up winning.
Nice.
The girl's name was Stephanie, and that's all I can really remember at this point. For those who are curious, the relationship did not continue.
Did you guys at least go out to eat like Craig said to?
No.
What the?
No, because here's the reason why. She was a volunteer, and every time I saw her at the convention, she was volunteering.
Oh.
Exactly.
I guess.
So no, we couldn't get that bucket of chicken.
Oh.
Craig offered to buy us a bucket of chicken, but no, there was like the stereotypical questions, like he's like, what would your dream date be? And I said, this is in the most manly voice I could pull off. Well, first I take you to a fancy dinner, no more than $40, and secondly, we will play Mario Party until to see if either one of us has killed each other, and if not, we can continue dating. And then, there was like. There was like a bunch of other things, but I had a feeling I would win based on that one question, because like the other guy gave like a really, really long and vague answer. The other guy just said nachos Bel Grande. It's like, and we would just eat nachos Bel Grande, and which to be honest, that's not a bad first date. Just endless nachos Bel Grande. And then the second thing came when I was when I was lining up for chance time later that night. I had no idea what it was, and eventually, basically, it was like Mario Party After Dark, but instead of Mario Party, but a bunch of other games. And for me, the panel itself wasn't the most memorable thing. It was being in the line, because when I got in line, I noticed that the guy next to me was a G1 Jayhawk 99. And Jayhawk and me used to do the G1 movie nights together. And I had not seen or heard from him in like 2 years. The last time I talked to him, I nearly died during a G1 movie night because we decided to do a drinking game during a Godzilla film. And the drinking game was to take a drink every time Godzilla roared. Since this was one of the old Godzilla movies, this was a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. And probably in about 20-25 minutes, nearly about between a quarter and a third of a bottle of rum was gone.
Oh.
At least it was the good stuff too. It wasn't that Captain Morgan shit. But that was the last time I even heard or did anything with G1 Movie Night. And then he saw my badge and said the Overshield, and he's like, hey, wait a minute. It's like, I think I've heard of you before. What's your G1 name? And I said my G1 name is Corndog 501. He's like, holy shit, you're that guy that got wasted on Godzilla night. And I'm like, oh god, you're that 12-year-old. Because now he's 14 and a lot taller and everything, so I didn't even recognize him. And so like reuniting with people that I used to do a lot of things on the internet with, and just randomly meeting at a convention, that was fun. But then what followed is that some guy came around with a portable Bose speaker, Bluetooth to his phone, and he was playing like game songs, and I'm like, I got an idea. So I had him start playing Bohemian Rhapsody over it. And we literally got the entire line of people singing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Wasn't that the guy dressed as the Pope?
No. It wasn't the Party Pope.
Okay.
Party Pope. That whole thing turned out happened on night 2. I think as everybody was waiting for the rave or something. But then we like cycled through songs. We did like Mulan's "I'll Make a Man Out of You." Then we did like Journey, and then I think the momentum died when somebody started playing Frozen. So for me, that was the most memorable thing was a dating game I accidentally got roped into, and spontaneous singing.
Well, that's half the fun of SGC, is just seeing what happens out there on the floor. Like having that arcade out in the open for everyone, I thought was one of the best parts of this year.
Well, that was great, though. There was one arcade machine that like everybody tried, and they realized that it was impossible to do without a high chair. It was Ridge Racer.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to be like the cool kid, like leaning back with like one arm behind me as I'm like standing up on one foot doing the game and shit, and that didn't work out so well. But if you are curious about going to a gaming convention, there is nothing better than SGC in my opinion. I've been to multiple conventions throughout the Midwest and everything. I've even been to cons bigger than SGC, but SGC just has a feeling and a vibe about it that clicks. There is no animosity at SGC, none whatsoever. I've seen when I go to anime cons, there is animosity, mostly from people arguing over if subs are better than dubs, but you see that at any anime convention. At SGC, there was none of that. Everybody was of the same family for 3 days, and it was awesome.
Everyone's going to be super pumped for the Overshield panel next year, huh? Hey?
I'm not the person you got to campaign. You got to get Sean. Or whoever's running it next year. We don't know yet. That's the ear you got to bend.
I don't know, but having the beard man wonder on my side can't help. Or can't hurt.
Well, me and Manny were debating whether or not to, because we recently did a panel at Jefferson City's CosplayCon, and that actually ended up being a decent success. Mostly because we had a tournament where people played Nidhogg, and the prizes were terrible games. And the very first prize that someone took was a boxed copy of E.T. Why anybody would want that, I don't know. Actually, I only bought it to destroy it, and I never ended up destroying it, and just be like, yeah, I'll give it away. Maybe some poor sap will want it, and some poor sap wanted it after beating me in a round of Nidhogg. And that and the reveal of us doing Hamtaro Abridged, it went over pretty well.
Awesome.
Considering that we had very little to show and all we could do was reenact the script. Which then I guess at some point during that panel it leaked. I leaked that I used to do voice work for a Bridge series, and then everybody was like, "It's like, oh, dude, can you like what voices did you do? Dance, monkey, dance!" And I was not used to that. But like I said, me and Manny were debating on whether or not doing more panels, because there was Otaku in Kansas City next. I think it's either like next. I think it's next week, or a Nebraska Con or whatever. And we decided to we'll only submit panels ourselves for CosplayCon, because that's just kind of because it's close and it's a local thing, and we would love to do SGC, but we don't want to like force ourselves and like end up having a panel slot where nobody shows up and wasting an entire slot. So I would only pursue that if I feel if it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Well, I mean, because the only reason I say because I went to even the relatively obscure panels at SGC, like the trivia questions and like Guitar Hero Anime Edition and stuff like that. There weren't a lot of people there, but what was there was fun nonetheless.
I gotta say, my favorite, because I've never been to SGC, but I watched a lot of the videos. I remember watching a video of a panel that Chad was doing at 5 in the morning, where he just set up Mugen.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard about this.
I was like
that was awesome.
that was either 2009 or 2010. was one of the first 2 years we ever did SGC, because that was the last time Chad ever said he would do something like that.
Uh-oh. Wasn't that bad? Goodness.
Well, it's not that it was that bad, it's that we keep long hours during SGC. So having to wake up to go set something up at 5 in the morning when you went to bed at 3 sucks.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I wasn't even staff, and I hardly got any sleep.
Yeah. Sleep comes at a premium at SGC.
It does. You may be paying, it's like that hotel room, you're paying premium for it, but you're not going to use it much.
Yeah.
Is there a no sleeping in the convention hall rule?
Correct.
Yeah.
No sleeping in the movie room. We'll kick your ass out.
Oh, hold on. No, wait. There was the one guy who literally who wanted to be first for Angry Joe's panel, and he napped out of the front door for the panel. He got there early and then napped to be the first person in line. And apparently, I think it's and Joe showed me. He was just like, hey, there was a guy who like slept out front to be first in my panel, so I took a picture of him. So I laid down next to him. There's a picture of me next to him.
That's awesome.
Which Angry Joe, probably next to Nathan, nicest guest I've ever met.
Yeah, he was super nice.
I was a little bummed that Nathan wasn't there this year, especially after the way he left SGC last year
with a shattered heel.
It was funny because like literally 6 hours before, he's like, "I never broke a bone doing stunts."
Nathan, good guy. But sometimes
you have to question his sanity.
Yep.
But that was SGC. Any final things you want to talk about it, or?
Let's see. It went well. I mean, we had close to 4,000 people in the building, which is like a 30% increase over last year. We got room to grow at our current hotel. We think it's a very good location, and we'll see if we can get back there next year and have everyone come back and then some. And the biggest thing for us was we were acquired by Fullscreen back in March, so we kind of had to prove SGC to those guys. And they were the guys that came out were all super stoked when they left. So I think we have much more of their support now. So things can only get bigger and better. It's looking good. The future is bright for SGC.
I remember, I think it was Craig proposed the idea of maybe moving SGC's date to like winter.
Yep, there's chatter. Just because, like, summer, it's like we look at our con schedule, it's like, well...
Summer is crazy.
Yeah, it's like there's QuakeCon and San Diego Comic Con. Well, that's, like, end of May, so that doesn't quite hit us.
That's right.
But it's like there's that. RTX is in the summer. We go out to Too Many Games out in Philly. Damn, the summer's just packed.
No, and... Craig made the suggestion of doing winter. I'm like, well, that wouldn't make sense because there's, like, historically speaking, not that many conventions in the winter.
Yeah. Or just, like, to the fall. But it's like, okay, well, now we have to deal with PAX South, which is in January. So it's like, if we do something in December, does that... how much does that conflict? And it's like, we could go to, like... Halloween weekend? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff up in the air.
Maybe Thanksgiving weekend?
Man, that...
No, wait. That would rub a wrong way.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the office would go for that. No one would go for that.
They'd be like, wait a minute. We have to skip the one day where we feast like crazy to work our asses off?
Yeah, no, not happening.
I pledge I will go to SGC next year if you get Bill Fish his own panel.
I
I don't know if that man would even want to come.
don't think he wants anything to do with gaming after the whole Marcus Beer fiasco.
No, that's
Ooh,
not true.
God.
His studio just announced a new game like a week or two ago.
And then he pulled his Twitter account again.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, Phil Fish,
Well, I think
it's an hour-long panel. I'll be there. I think
what's funny is that someone posted as a joke. It's like as like surprise SGC guest of honor Phil Fish, and you bought it, Andrew.
I was.
You like on the way down, you asked us, it's like, hey, interview Phil Fish, and we're like, Andrew, we're pretty sure Phil Fish isn't actually there.
He's there next year. I'm coming.
Like, my concern is not. We've had oh, his name always escapes me now. The stupid.
Jack Thompson.
Yes. Like, Jack Thompson was treated like perfectly civil by the G1s when he came out. So that doesn't concern me. Like, how the person will be received in the building. I just wonder how Phil Fish would act in public.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more curious about.
I would think he's a bigger liability than Nathan.
Yeah.
Would you be worried? Like, you put Phil Fish on the main stage, right? He gets an hour for FAQs. He gets surrounded by everybody. You don't think that would go well?
It depends what he says. Because I know the G1s can behave themselves if this contentious figure is like civil.
I mean,
But
hey,
if Phil Fish becomes a giant cock monster, then I can't really guarantee anything.
if he becomes a giant cock monster, you know what they say? There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there is.
No, I'm just like it would bring a lot of attention. But anyway, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He's there. I'm there.
All right, I'll let him show.
Phil Fish goes crazy to SGC. This was great promotion for SGC, guys.
Yeah. You know that show in Texas that gets the crazy people? Let's go there.
It's like, hey, let's go to SGC. Wasn't that the convention where a guy threw a table at his audience? Yeah. No, I already have I'm already like really excited to see what you guys will do for next year, and me and Manny are already having a bet as to who you guys will bring for your honorary guest next year. I'm betting on Gabe Newell.
Who else is favorited as potential?
I think John Carmack was another person I thought of. And that's just because QuakeCon nearby, and he used to work for it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he's like out of
I know
Bethesda fold now. So
yes, and he's probably isn't he out like in like Silicon Valley now or something?
No, I think he's gonna be the person heading up the. Oculus is opening a Dallas office. So
are they?
Yeah, they are. So I think that's where he's gonna be.
Well, there you go. You don't have to pay his travel fees already.
Exactly.
What
Like
about Lauren Lanning?
About who?
Lauren Lanning.
Oh god, that name's super familiar. Remind me what they've done.
He's the creator of Oddworld.
That's right. Craig said he's going out to San Francisco to do some video with him. I was like, you super lucky motherfucker. I don't know. Time will tell.
Time will only tell is what happens to SGC 2015.
Like, I would love to see Gabe Newell. It so depends on timing. Because right now, like, we bump up right against the International, the Dota tournament.
That's right.
Which was in Seattle this year, so that would have been the conflicts. But we'll see where we end up, and I think the International rotates continents. So they won't be in America next year.
No, instead it'll just rotate between Korea, America, Europe, Korea, America, and Europe.
Yep.
It's just...
Those are the markets, that's where you go. LOL does the same thing.
I heard. Well, maybe it'll move to China because I hear China's actually like investing a crap ton of money into building like actual arenas dedicated to gaming.
Well, I mean, the International filled an 18,000-seat arena for 4 days
Oh my god.
up in Seattle, and the two final teams were both Chinese, so I'm not surprised.
I think what's funny is like every time I tell people, they're just like, oh yeah, do you play League of Legends or Dota? I'm like, yeah, and I always get my ass kicked by a Korean or Chinese player. You know, they're like, well, that's stereotypical, isn't it? And I'm like, no, because every time I play, literally every time I played a player from South Korea, I lose terribly.
Get off their servers. Step one.
They gotta stop straying onto my servers. I mean, I can hold my own against an American, but oh, God forbid.
Don't give me that, Corey. I will whoop your ass to the wall. I'm challenging you right now.
Oh shit! All right.
1v1 me, bruh. 1v1
Yeah,
me.
1v1.
All right, Andrew. I think it's time we move into your section, or what you have, because it is time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment. It's everybody in the world's favorite segment. Yes, I totally ripped off Craig on this one. It is time for people doing stupid shit. Hit the music, Andrew.
Oh, we're both beatboxing here?
Oh.
No, here.
Yeah.
Here, Bryan, can you freestyle rap? Go ahead.
No. Sorry, too white.
Yo, his name is Bryan Baker. He is the bread maker. He will get you all over that League of Legends.
And disconnect.
Aw. I appreciate the effort.
I'm literally the whitest person on the staff. Alright. So
I'm from Missouri. I could be a lot whiter.
I am from SoCal. Anyway, I am...
Then you should be tanned, right?
Exactly.
Oh my god, it is 107 here today.
Hey, same in Texas.
It's like 88 here?
You bastard.
Right?
You go
Yeah.
back into your cool environment.
Exactly.
It's just humid as hell here. That's the problem. It's like we're pushing like 50%. We're pushing like 50% humidity right now.
Alright, so I have 3 stories. Alright, so baseball's always been one of those things. They have bizarre first pitches. Sometimes they get nowhere near the glove, sometimes they hit it, sometimes it's a cat.
Sometimes they hit a fan.
Hero
Or
Cat
bird.
throws first pitch at Bakersfield Blaze game. A cat who saved a California toddler from a neighborhood dog threw out the ceremonial first pitch at a minor league baseball game Tuesday.
One, how does that even work? Cats don't have thumbs.
It basically, if you look at the picture, there is a person holding the cat. The same person who's holding the cat is holding his arm. There's another person holding the ball next to his arm, and then that's how the quote cat threw the pitch. Very heavily assisted. Alright then. There's peanut gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. So at a store in Massachusetts, there was a very angry customer coming in to get some beer. What I mean by that is a wild deer runs into the store, crashes all over the beer, grabs alcohol, and leaves.
The beer steers alcohol. I'm sorry, the deer steals beer.
The deer steals beer.
Say that three times fast.
Employees and customers at Quick Six Liquors in Plymouth, Massachusetts were surprised Tuesday when an unexpected guest came barging in. Surveillance footage shows a deer leaping through the store's front window, then racing through the aisles as the disoriented animal tried to find a way out. Customers were seen dodging the deer and knocked over a few high-end liquor bottles in its attempt to flee. But if you look at it, he is carrying some of it with him.
That son of a bitch. They're getting smarter, I tell ya. Soon they'll rule the world.
They've developed a taste.
It's like, Rise of the Planet of the Apes? They did it wrong. It's the rise of Bambi, damn it.
Ah, hell. Bambi's revenge is here.
I knew Bambi he would always come back to get us for us killing his mom. I knew he would do it.
He's been waiting for 70 years, but now it's time.
So this last story, there's no way. I'm just gonna say it. American student ends up trapped in giant vagina sculpture.
I saw this about a month ago.
Call it a stimulating study abroad experience. An American exchange student sparked an extraordinary rescue mission when his leg became trapped inside a giant vagina. It was a dare, fire department squad leader Marcus Moser told NBC. This young man tried to pose within the vagina and got stuck.
Wow.
All right.
Jeez, you know what? This is why, you know what? I quit. This is not my segment. I'm done.
Exactly.
I don't do
Bye.
this.
So normally Tommy does all this.
Ah, okay.
I know he's much funnier than I am. I'm here to be like Howard Stern. I am the Howard Stern of the Overshield. I'm the Larry King of the Overshield. Like that dude, Tommy Corey, they're like Gabriel Iglesias.
Did you just freaking call me Gabriel Iglesias?
Yes.
It's because you're fluffy.
I mean, I get that, but I don't do the weird voices, do I?
I don't know. Earlier, weren't you saying you did a weird voice to try to attract a woman? I'll take her on a date.
Well, I was doing a manly voice, but God. So wait, then what's Manny? The hell's Manny then?
Well, according to his thumbnail, that looks like Psy.
You know what? Let's see. Manny is. You know, we'll think of that. We'll think on that one for next week. Anyways, let's move on to the final segment today. Just shout-outs. I'm Bryan. I'm not sure if you remember how this goes, but basically, if you ever watched Epic Battle Axe or I'm sorry, Epic Battle Cry or other podcasts similar to it, here is where you use our platform to shout out someone or something that you think deserves recognition.
Alrighty. I'm going to go with our SGC volunteers, the guys that gave up their weekends, especially when other volunteers flaked out and people ended up working 2 or 3 more shifts than they were supposed to, and just helped make everything run as smoothly as they did, whether it was helping just keep lines organized or help people find information, or just keep the panels working well and helping else, whether it's loading in or loading out. Anything we needed help with that we could get volunteers to help with, they were there at a drop of a hat, kicking ass. So much love for the people who came and wore those orange vests at SGC. So much love.
They also even sacrificed dates.
Yeah. They do everything.
Alright, so my shout out, Andrew will find this obvious, is to Mr. Bryan Baker for showing up, people.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that and, of course, SGC is the event itself. Go to Dallas next year, folks. You will not regret it. Except for the stupidly hot heat.
The
Well, not
beauty...
regret it. Phil Fish is there.
Well, that's the beauty of SGC, is you don't have to leave the building. Like, there was the skywalk to the food court.
That's true. But I ended up just eating ramen in my room. Hey, gotta go cheap.
There was a CVS in walking distance. Then again, I think I learned that I have a very different concept of walking distance than the rest of the crew.
What's your idea of walking distance? 2 miles?
Half a mile?
Not too bad. I think I even know of the CVS you're talking about, because when we were leaving Dallas, we were trying to find a place to fill up, and it's like okay, let's go to this. It's like let's go to the 7-Eleven. It's like we'll fill up there. Turns out it's just a 7-Eleven convenience store, which I didn't even know that existed.
Oh yeah.
But then again,
yeah.
So and along the way we saw that CVS you were talking about.
Downtown,
No,
man, no
the-
gas stations.
Oh shit, you should see here in Columbia, like, people get pissed if you have to park, like, 2 or more blocks away from where you want to go.
Really?
Oh yeah. But that's just because literally our downtown is 1 square mile. It is tiny. And no building is over 5 stories.
That's quite small.
That's a college town. That's a college town for you.
Yeah, really.
Andrew, you're the last one.
Alright, my shout out goes to Jason Tiny of the EMU Review, youtube.com/the EMU Review. Go check him out. He does great word reviews. He also does drum covers and just a whole bunch of different things. Really in depth, really high quality. And go check him out. I think he just hit 10,000 subscribers the other day. He's cool. He's a cool guy. Jason Tiny.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We had him on 2 years ago, didn't we?
Yes, we had him on the show, and because this podcast, he's coming out Friday, and this is tomorrow. Tomorrow, the second episode of Retrospective is coming out, and it will be featuring Mr. Jason Tiny. So.
Which fun fact, Brian. We consider the episode we did with you to be kind of a jump. Well, I wouldn't say a jumping off point, but it was definitely like from that episode forward, we had a guest on every single show for literally like 3-4 months.
I started a trend.
And that was all because you asked me. It's like, what guest would I would love to bring on the show? And without really thinking too hard about it, I said Tommy Tallarico, and then Andrew's like, done. And I'm like, Andrew, what'd you do? He's like, and I said, he said, it's like, oh, I just emailed him. I'm like, wait a minute, you emailed him as we were doing the podcast after I just talked about it? And then next thing you know, we got a reply, and he came on the next week.
Awesome. I'm glad I could start something.
My favorite guest by far. No offense to you, Bryan. I enjoy spending time with you. I enjoy your beard immensely. I love having Sue Skyden on the show from the Tester.
Oh yeah, I still talk to her every now and then on Facebook.
So do I. But one of my favorite moments, we had Ben on the show, and Sue Skyden was supposed to come on next week. And when we announced it on the show, Ben, the last thing you hear in the recording is Ben just going, "Wait, what?" Anyway, that's my shout out, Jason Tiny. He's a cool fool. Go check him out. If you haven't, Brian, go check him out. I think he's a cool guy.
Right.
He does a podcast with heavy metal or Metal Jesus Rocks and Pete Dorn, Gamester 81.
Metal Jesus Rocks. Yeah. I see that guy's stuff on Spirit Tech all the time.
Yeah, they all do a podcast together. Jason is the sound guy. He also, he's on the show commonly as well. But it's all good guys. And on episode 14 of AGG, Stunner and Craig was on there. He came on the show really early when it was still developing. But anyways, go check him out. I'm done.
Boom, drops the mic.
Boom.
Anyways, that is Pixels and Bits, episode 71, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 71. Once again, thank you, Brian, for joining us on tonight's podcast. And I think this is actually the longest one we've had.
An hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Has it really been an hour and 40 minutes?
Yes, it has. Have fun editing this, Tommy.
Oh.
Anyways, as always, my name is Corey.
Andrew.
I'm Bryan.
And we'll see you all next week, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.